Eric Jensen, the community educator for CHI St. Elizabeth's Burn Unit, joining us here today. Eric, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so we're talking frostbite
Yes.
today here. Now, many people don't realize that they're treated there in the Burn Unit. Can you kind of explain why that is?
Sure, we treat a lot of skin conditions, and one of them being frostbite. The damage that is caused by frostbite is to the skin, and so it's one of the conditions that we're able to treat there in the burn center.
Alrighty, awesome. And then, how can we spot those first signs there? Because I got kids, and
Sure.
they run around all the time without gloves or mittens or anything like that.
Sure, so you're going to see that redness that's going to start to occur, just like when you're out in the wind, you'll see that red on their face, the nose, the hands. That's kind of that first sign. Then when you come inside, you can probably have some numbness and tingling as it starts to warm up. That's kind of a sign that you were out in that cold too long.
They start to hurt too a little bit, right?
Exactly, that numbness, tingling, that pins and needles feeling, for sure.
All right, sounds good. And what are some steps people can take to kind of avoid that frostbite, including those little ones?
Sure, the biggest thing is trying to keep everything that's exposed covered. So the hats, getting your kids to wear a coat. I have a hard time getting my kid to wear a coat as well. So the coats, the gloves, hats, even a scarf if it's really cold out. When we were wearing masks all the time, that was a great way to try to keep the face covered. So just keeping all that exposed skin covered.
How do you do that when the guy? Because I spend probably 20 minutes a day trying to pin my kid down.
Yeah.
He's one, so he's trying
Exactly.
to pin him down to get his gloves on, and then the second I put them on, he rips those off. So maybe would you recommend short bursts outside?
Sure, exactly. Yeah, limiting your time outside is going to be very helpful with that. So when 1 year old, you're probably not spending a bunch of time outside playing. So into the car and into the house is not a huge deal.
Okay.
But that long time outside, that's when you're going to want to make sure wrapping in a blanket, something else that you can help when you can't keep those gloves on.
Okay, so if you see the signs there, what are some do's and don'ts at home? Maybe if you don't have the severe cases, as to take it to the burn unit?
If you just rewarming is the first step. So getting them back inside, running them under the warm water, it's going to probably burn a little bit,
Right.
have that pain and discomfort. Then just kind of keeping it moist. So your lotions, your aloe is a really good product to use if you have a frostbite injury. But if you start to see those blisters, then you're going to need to start to see somebody. So you'll start with a clear-filled blister or even a blood-filled blister if it's much later. But if you move into that, you're going to need to start to see somebody.
So aloe, just like a sunburn, right?
Absolutely.
All
Yep.
right, perfect. And how often do you treat patients for frostbite at CHI?
It just kind of depends on what the weather is. So next week, with the weather getting a little colder, we expect there'll be a few more. We'll probably see 4 or 5 patients that'll spend some time in the inpatient unit for that, and then we'll have several that'll come in the outpatient. But again, it's really variation on the weather each year. So it just kind of depends. More are treated in the outlying areas. They don't all need to come into the burn center. So we certainly are advising other places what to do as well.
Do you see it more with an increase in snowfall, maybe? Just because kids are maybe grabbing the snow a little bit more?
It really just depends. Kind of colder temperatures. Really, it's those people that are outside. So, if you work outside or if you're outside for long periods of time, those are the people that we end up seeing more of the frostbite on. Kids, I think parents do a pretty good job of getting them in and getting them cold. They get cold, they come inside, they want to warm up, so they have that shorter time period outside. But it's just usually those longer time outside.
Can people find some of these tips on your website?
For sure, and I think there's a graphic too that has some of those things as well.
Yes, I think we played that already in this interview. So thank you so
Awesome.
much, Eric, for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Some great advice this time of year, especially because Malcolm's cranking down the thermostat a little bit.
Exactly.
This week.
Yeah, for sure.